I've already pre-ordered it, which means it's a cult favorite. The book that made it onto my list of all-time favorites. Quickly climbed its way to the top of my favorites list this year. Hello lovely bookworms, I'm Esmay from Paradise of Pages on Instagram and also on Twitter, and welcome to a new video. Today the video is going to be a lot more positive than last time because I'll be talking about my best books of 2019. So this video is going to be both my best books and also my most surprising books. I think they overlap nicely. I can never say whether it's a best book or a most surprising book, so I thought I'd combine the two and just tell you guys why I love them so much. So let's start with the first book I read this year, and also I think the one I loved most. I've been gushing about this duology for a long time, and no, it is not The Wrath and the Dawn, but it is Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. I absolutely love this duology. It is no surprise that I love Muse to death. I think I've mentioned that multiple times, and it is just such an amazing book and I loved reading it, and I also love the fact that it was the first book of 2019. Okay, so let's switch it up. Let's continue with a book that also really surprised me. I did already like the first two in this trilogy, but the book I'm talking about is The War of the Bastards by Andrew Swartz. I loved Royal Bastards and City of Bastards, but War of the Bastards was definitely my favorite out of the three, which I did not expect because usually for me, I liked the last book in a series least, but this one, it was so great. I think it was an amazing conclusion to this trilogy, and if you haven't heard of Royal Bastards, please do pick it up. It is amazing. So next up are actually two books because they still surprise me a lot. I do have to say that I don't think this is the best series I've ever read, but I'm talking about The Wicked King and The Queen of Nothing. I don't have The Queen of Nothing yet, so I'm holding up The Wicked King. But I also read this one this year in January, and I thought both of them were really good. I just think that the trilogy is very solid. First, second, and third book are all pretty good. They're not the best trilogy or books out there, but they're very enjoyable, and what I love is that it tells such a big story in very small books. All three of them are not too big, and I really enjoy that. Next up is a book that made it onto my list of all-time favorites, and that is Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. This book, I swear to you, is one of my absolute favorites. It's basically Mulan meets Project Runway, so we follow this girl who wants to be a royal tailor, and in doing so she has to become a male, so she actually dresses up like a male, pretends to be male, and that's where the story takes off. This thing, if there is one book from this list that you should read, it's this one. It legit is this one. This one is amazing. I loved every minute of it, and I cannot wait for Unravel the Dusk. I've already pre-ordered it, which means it's a cult favorite, and just read it now, guys. I'm just so good, and I cannot wait to reread this book. So next up is a book that really surprised me as well because I hated her other work, and that is Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I really didn't like An Enchantment of Ravens. I thought it was unnecessary and it was just not for me. Let's just keep it at that. We're talking about best books, not books I don't like. That said, this book, I loved it. I loved our main protagonist. I loved the love interest. I loved every single character in this. Yes, it was a little bit cliche and a little bit predictable, but I need me these books. These kinds of books are what keeps me going. That said, it is also absolutely stunning, and I got this gorgeous book from one of my best friends in England. I just love it a lot, and it was both a surprising and a really good book, so I'm sure you've heard of it. It was a big hype a while ago, and it really deserves the hype it gets. Next up, talking about hypes, this is a book that doesn't get any hype, which I find very strange because I personally think it is really good, and that is Romanov by Nadine Brandis. I've mentioned this book multiple times. It quickly climbed its way to the top of my favorites list this year, and it's a quick book. It's not a historical fiction. This does talk about Anastasia, and a lot of things in the books are actually true. I've talked about this book multiple times, so if you're following the channel, you know, but I just think it is absolutely amazing, quick read, loved every minute of it. Then last, but certainly not least, is a book that might surprise you or it might not. I kind of mentioned it in last video I posted, but that's Dance of Thieves. I loved this one. I flew right through it. I actually really want to reread this. Sadly, Vow of Thieves made it onto my most disappointing list. But this one I really enjoyed. I love the characters. I love the way the world was built. I have no idea now whether I will love it as much if I reread it, so I'm kind of scared to. I want to hold on to all the hype that I had around this book. That said, I still think it's really good, and I don't know what happened between this book and the second one, because this one is definitely great, and the ending is satisfying enough, so I'd say just read this one and then stop reading. Though the second book is still okay. Anyway, this book was really good, and I really enjoyed it, which is why it made it onto this list. That said, that is all of the books that I wanted to talk about today. I really loved all of these. They were very surprising to me, or they're just really good. Some of them I knew I would love. That said, that is everything for this video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe to our channel and press the little bell icon so you get post notifications every single time that we post. Give us a thumbs up. Let me know which books really surprised you this year or made it to your favorites list. And I will see you guys tomorrow, actually. Tomorrow is going to be the weekly vlog, and tomorrow is also going to be the last day of 2019. So I hope you've had an amazing year, and I will see you guys tomorrow for a reading vlog. Bye!